蒙面家人的选民、各位朋友，大家晚上好。本来我首先要用福建话讲几句，不过听了北京话讲福建话讲得这么流利，我拍谁呀？因为我的福建话是从那个当兵时候学来的，可以啊。不过在当兵的时候学的福建话很特别，因为一开口就问候爸爸妈妈。啊，他们一开口就说您老辈啊，所以不太流利，不太好啊。我这几天从早到晚去见居民，问他们，哎，你们有看到反对党吗？知道他们是谁吗？啊，每个都说没有看到，没有听到，不要紧。一个人跟我说，看无、听无，什么本无？这就是工人党在Moulmein-Kallang，看无、听无，什么本无？好了，让我跟大家说一个简单的小故事。这个小故事是我叫大树和野菇，野菇是 wild mushrooms 啊，野菇，大树和野菇。从前有个小村庄，村庄里平静、稳定、和谐、繁荣。村庄的周围有很多强壮高大的树。多年来，村民和大树有一个很好、很密切的关系。有一天，村民起床的时候，看到大周围有很多野菇，不知道为什么出来，他们就感到很好奇，问：“哎，这些野菇从哪里来的？”一个老翁就对他们说：“哎。”很特别，每五年，这个野菇出来一次，最多是1-2个月而已，然后就不见了。这些野菇形状不一样，颜色五颜六色，有蓝色的啦，有红色的，有黄色的，有粉红色的。偶尔在这5年内，那些野菇会出来，不过这是不平常的事了，很少看见的。要等到5年后，那个野菇才 pop up 出来。不过今年很特别啊，那个老翁说，因为他认识，好像那些野菇5年以前出来过，那个形状他认识。不过以前是蓝色，今年变了红色，以前是蓝色，今年变得黄色。他也说，几个星期前那些黄色的出来，变了粉红色，在我们周围。不过眨眼就不见了，那个粉红色又在那个西边的草原中又跳出来，很奇怪。蓝色的野菇聚在一起，又慢慢的分散。居民对野菇有好奇，不过那个蓝色的野菇神神秘秘的，使到居民很无奈。那个村民就问，那个野菇有什么益处？那个野菇很美啊，我们除了一些大树，给野菇比较多地方长大，好不好？那个老翁就对他们说：“你要小心，野菇有一些有毒的，你跟野菇太接近，会使我们衰弱，影响我们的成长，影响我们的前途，最好避开野菇。”那个大树呢，是很特别的，多年来 带来了很多好处。天气热时，帮助我们防晒；狂风暴雨时候，大树也能帮助居民遮挡。附近的村庄比较大，不过多年来他们没有栽培这个树木，所以每逢危机发生时，这些附近的村庄就被严重的破坏。这个村庄里有一棵特别的老树，特别的大树，50多年了，给居民们深深的爱戴。从远方有很多朋友过来欣赏这棵大树以及其他的树木。这个树木，这些大树给我们带来许多果类。前年大风暴，所以收获比较差。不过去年却有大的丰收，居民们大多数都有很大的花红。丰收的原因是因为居民给树木关怀和爱戴。不只是大树，大树是从树苗慢慢的变大，是因为居民们栽培、培养这些树苗，他们也是细心的，慢慢让果实成熟。最后，老翁警告居民们要小心，保护大树，避开野菇，是不是？保护大树，避开野菇。我们要记得保护大树，避开野菇。Let me say a little bit of that story in English because I know I have many friends here who speak Tamil, other Indian languages and Malay. It's a simple story, a story I call Tall Trees and Wild Mushrooms. The setting is in a small, tiny village surrounded by many bigger villages. This tiny village is safe, prosperous, secure, and the residents, I think, have a comfortable life. Over the years, because the village has been surrounded by tall trees, the residents and these trees have developed a special relationship. One day, the villagers woke up to find that there were many wild mushrooms that had sprouted overnight in the fields around them. And so they were very curious, where did these wild mushrooms come from? And finally, a wise old man from the village told them, every 5 years, these wild mushrooms will sprout out. Every 5 years. And they usually last only 1 to 2 months. The mushrooms are all of different shapes and sizes, different colors. There's the blue one that tries, I think, to be the big and strong one. And then there is the red one, there's the yellow one, and there's the pink one, and many others. And he told them that this year was particularly unusual because he recognized some of the mushrooms from previous years. They were blue, but this year they came out red. They were blue, but they came out yellow. Some yellow mushrooms came out, and then they turned pink. The pink one came around us, and then disappeared. And it appeared, the same pink ones appeared somewhere else to the west. The villagers asked, are these mushrooms any good? They're so pretty. Should we remove some of these tall trees and allow the wild mushrooms to grow? And so the wise old man told them, well, you know, these mushrooms may look pretty, but some of them are poisonous. And if you associate too closely with them, these wild mushrooms will weaken us, it will stunt our growth, it will retard our development. Leave them alone. Protect the trees. These trees are special trees. These trees shelter us from the heat, protects us from the storms. And if you look at other villages around us, they may be bigger, they may have more natural resources from the ground, but because they do not have strong, deeply rooted tall trees, when the storm and the crisis come, they are affected very, very badly. And so his advice to them was, take care of the trees, leave the mushrooms alone. You see, these trees didn't appear overnight. There's this special tree in the field. And he said, I have seen this tree for more than 50 years. And this tree has a special place in all our hearts. Special tree. And he said that many people from far and wide came and have come and will continue to come to admire this tree and all the tall trees surrounding it. And he said that the trees give shade, give shelter, and give good fruit. 2 years ago, the harvest was bad, but last year, it was an especially good harvest. One of the best harvests in all the world. And he said, everybody has a special share, a big bonus. And we should remember that. These trees didn't appear overnight. They are there because the villagers cared for them and loved them. And even when they were saplings, the villagers invested much time to help them grow and to nurture them. And the fruit has to be taken care of, and the villagers have done that to allow it to specially ripen. And so the village is prosperous, the trees are well loved, and the future is bright. And his final words of warning was, protect the trees, avoid the mushrooms. Protect the trees, avoid the mushrooms. This election is about the future of Singapore. It is about the leadership that we want to bring together, that in the next 10 or so years will be in a position to bring Singapore forward, to establish their vision for us, and to lead us to a better future for our children and for the generations to come. The PAP is the party that has put forward not only a track record from the past 50 years, it has put forward a vision of where we want the country to go and the people who will take us forward. It is easy to talk about co-drivers and all those things. I'm not going to go into that. That's not solving any of our problems. We know that residents are concerned over cost of living, affordability of housing. But remember, the government is there for you, and the government is one that you can trust. When I bought my HDB flat in 1986, after living in a rental flat for 25 years. After 25 years in a rental flat, I bought my first HDB flat. It was $110,000. 9 years after that, in the mid-90s, I sold it for close to about $400,000. The people of my generation who invested and lived in the HDB flat benefited, and the only reason we did so was because we had a strong, stable government that led us forward day by day, month by month, and year by year. The people then were also concerned whether housing was becoming increasingly affordable. And the government came up with schemes, additional housing grant, so on and so forth, that helped the first generation of HDB flat owners enter the market and yet allowed those who already own their flat to enjoy the rise in prices. Today, we have a similar situation. The government has once again not only continued with the CPF housing grant, it has introduced over the years the additional housing grant and the special housing grant. Additional housing grant is $40,000, the special housing grant is $20,000, and it makes HDB flats affordable for the different market segments. Trust the government to do the right thing at the right time. We don't need the opposition to tell us that. We don't need the opposition to come up once every 5 years to tell us what to do. We know what to do and what needs to be done because we listen to you. We are on the ground and we hear your views and your concerns and your feedback. And we will establish the right plans so that you, your children, and the future generations will have a brighter future in Singapore. Finally, I just want to say that politics and politicking in many countries divide. They do not unite, they divide. They focus on differences. They accentuate the differences rather than to emphasize what we have in common and what brings us together. They focus on the contest of ideas, but not enough, as my comrades have said, on the thoughtful and careful implementation of ideas, on the action to bring those ideas to life. They focus on the short term, but do not give due regard to what needs to be done in order to safeguard the longer term. Our opposition will choose this time to divide us. They will choose this time to emphasize the differences. They will choose this time to throw out wild ideas. But like the wild mushrooms, they will disappear. They do not have to account for what happens thereafter. The People's Action Party has been with you, alongside you, shoulder to shoulder with all of us for the last 50 years. Give us a chance to stand shoulder to shoulder with you for the future of Singapore. Majulah Singapura, Majulah PAP. Thank you very much.
Thank you.